Hi guys, it's almost Halloween and I have got a spooky craft in the form of some adorable potion bottle labels that we're going to be making today. Let's jump in. So to make these, you're obviously going to need some bottles or jars. These can either be purchased in specialist stores like Hobbycraft or online from Amazon, or you could even save some from the kitchen. To make the foiled version, we are going to be using a glossy self-adhesive sheet. This is from Paper Cutz. I'll drop the link down below, and a great big thank you to Paper Cutz for sponsoring today's video. If you just want to make a fully printed one, then you could also use their matte version. You're going to need either just an inkjet printer, or if you're planning to have a foiled element, you're also going to need a laser one, some specialist foil, and also something to apply it with, whether that is a laminator, heat press, or even a specialist machine like a mink or foil it. You're going to need a silhouette cameo cutter. You could probably make these on a Cricut, but today's instructions are just going to be for the silhouette. Everything's going to be designed over in Canva, so let's hop over there now.
So I've gone over to Canva and I'm having a look at some label Halloween designs, and there are quite a few here, and if you click on one it will show you similar designs. So I'm going to open one and start editing, and we're going to start by removing the background, and I'm going to have a look for a kind of parchment design. That was my initial thought. However, I soon realised that wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't going to show up as well with foiling. But you can see me here going through and editing all of the text. So I've given my potion name at the top, and then at the bottom I've put some directions, so to be consumed under the light of a full moon, and I needed a little icon or image to go in the middle, so I chose this kind of pen and ink style potion bottle. I then made a few more, and that was when I realised I wanted to have a black. So I've gone through and I've actually duplicated every single image, and I've deleted the background and made all of the elements the pure black, and then obviously just deleted everything else of the duplicate other than the background. This is going to make foiling so much easier, and you do that by selecting everything and then going to the colours at the top and just making sure that you are on pure black. We're then going to export as a ping with a transparent background and open up in Silhouette. For this one with the offset, I started by tracing the outline, then going over to the offset panel and having a play around until I was happy. I then deleted the initial trace, filled it with black, and then popped the design back over the top. For the other ones, I have gone with a rounded rectangle design instead. And for the final one, I've actually had a look at my library and I quite like this design here, so I've used it. That's a preset in the Silhouette design library, so you should be able to find it in yours. And I've just sized it to the actual label design itself, and then filled it with this black colour, and then obviously just made sure that everything fits. I then measured my bottles and decided upon the final size for all of my stickers, and then I have just filled the page with them. So we're going to start and we're going to make sure that our registration marks are actually turned on. So I have made these as thick and big as possible. I've actually inset them to the lowest setting so I can fit more on, and then I've aligned everything to make sure I'm happy. Now lastly, you need to go through, and the initial designs themselves, you need to group them all and then right click and cut. We are then going to print only the background, and we're going to do that on the inkjet printer.
So my glossy stickers have been printed on the inkjet, and as you can see hopefully on the background, it's like an antique kind of backing for each of them. We don't want them to look too new and pristine. Now we need to move on to the next stage, which is putting them through the laser printer. The most important thing before we do this is to turn off your registration marks. You'll also need to figure out what settings are best for your printer when it comes to laying down enough toner for foiling. I have got multiple videos on this, so feel free to check them out.
So once we've fed that back into our printer machine, we are going to delete the backgrounds, go up to File and make sure that we press Paste in Place. This is vital as it makes sure that everything is lined up, and we're then going to print.
Okay, so hopefully you can just about see on camera there that I have gone over with my laser printer, And we've discussed before in other videos about how to line up your prints perfectly between inkjet and laser. So I'm quite lucky, but I will drop a card so you can have a little look at that should you need it. So now we're going to use the foil it machine, and I am currently just waiting for her to preheat up to 165, and I'm going to give her a good 5 minutes after that just to make sure that she's nice and hot before we feed this through. Okay, so I'm going to use a clear Mink folder to pop this through. If you don't have one, you can just use a bit of folded paper. That will work perfectly. A3 is usually best. Now I'm going to go for a two-tone, I think. So I'm going to have some of them in this copper and some of them in the silver. So the most important thing to do is to give your print a very, very light rub down with a microfiber cloth, being very careful not to scratch anything. I have just been foiling some of my own personal invitations, so there is silver foil everywhere. But now that's done, we can trim the foil down and apply it, and then just add everything into the transfer folder. Now I don't need to worry about covering up the registration marks today because they have been printed with the inkjet. That's why we did it that way around, and that means that they will not transfer onto my folder and they will not have the foil stick. So this has now fully cooled down, and we are going to try and get this out without taking the foil off. Oh, static cling, so annoying. Okay, so, oh wow, these have turned out amazing. Okay, so hopefully you can see just how beautiful and shiny they are. I was going for an antique effect, but because of the Paper Cutz works so beautifully with foil, I've not quite got that. Instead, I've got this perfectly foiled sticker instead, which is still just as beautiful. Just a few touches there, but that was where the foil actually got creased going through rather than anything to do with the technique. So now that this is all ready, I am going to run it through the silhouette cutting machine. There are a few patches where we have got a surplus of foil, but I will go over that with my trusty clean brush, and that will just get, you can see it just spraying up there. That will just get rid of the excess foil that is there to fully reveal the design. Okay, so before we remove, we are obviously going to do the test to make sure that it has cut through the top layer but not the backing. So we've definitely got the top layer and the backing is pristine. So now I'm going to remove this, flick it to take it off the mat, and now it is time to do the big reveal. And this is not a satisfying peel because of it's got a little bit stuck. That's better. Okay, so let's have a look. These have turned out amazing. They look better than most of the ones that you can buy from the shop. The foiling is flawless. I mean, obviously, because I chose this kind of ink design here, there's some spots, but that's within the design rather than the foiling. I mean, just look at the detail that it's managed to capture with those tiny stars there and the little text as well. I am honestly blown away with how well this has come out. And then if we move on to the Moonlight Elixir Potion, can you see all of those tiny little parts of the moon and how it has still managed to foil them. I'm hoping the camera is focusing here. And then lastly, we've got the Weaver's Brew. So this one is probably my favourite because of how the label is offset. So next we need to add them to our bottles. So there is a good chance that mine's going to go on wonky because, as per usual, the camera's in the way. But I am going to use my grid mat here just so I can see, and just pop that in. Line up the bottom on one of the lines there. Move the camera back so you can see. And I'm going to just add on the sticker round about in the middle. And how cool does that look? Let's do another one. Really, really like this purple bottle here. I got it from Hobbycraft. They have currently got all of their Halloween bits on clearance. So I think the bat one would look quite nice on here. And there we go. We have got a super shiny Moonlight Elixir. And lastly is this beautiful big ornate wine bottle here. This would look really cool with some colour changing lights in. You can get those special lights specifically for bottles. I can imagine this in a green would look amazing as a Halloween decoration. Okay, so the one thing I would say is when you're applying to a curved surface like this, press the middle down first and then kind of slightly pull the outer sides as you're going, because this will just stop the risk of the creases that you can sometimes get, especially as the sides are not 100% straight. But this is a really robust sticker paper. You could see how hard I was tugging there. No ripping, no sign of tearing or stretching. And we have this beautiful bottle. Ta-da! We are finished. These look so cute. I'm honestly not sure which one is my favourite now. Either these two, I do like the purple, or this bigger guy here. Yeah, what do you think? Which is your favourite? I really like the silver and black. I'm also a sucker for this kind of copper and black as well. And I just genuinely, I can't stop staring at how well these have foiled. I'm always blown away when I use the PaperCutz gloss sticker paper for foiling, because it is hands down the best sticker paper that I have used. I'd probably go as far as to say it is the best media that I have used for foiling. There is just never any of this patchiness that I get with other brands. And as you saw me tugging around on this one here, it is really robust. The great thing about these is that the sticker paper itself is actually waterproof. So my mind is now wearing, Chibichi Jr. is having a Halloween party, and I'm wondering if these could be used, maybe some cute little milk bottles, and then I could do up some personalised stickers for them that make them look like potions. I think that would be a really cute element. Obviously, there is the green light that I'm definitely going to be doing. And I'd quite like to have a go at, I don't know if you've seen those swirling potions. You usually need to use specialist powder. Mica doesn't always work, and it's not something that I want to use, as it's not something that's usually harvested in a cruelty-free way, shall we say. But there are so many applications for this, and not just for Halloween, obviously, although I've made some spooky little decorations to go in my Halloween collection. But there's so many other things that you could do for Christmas, birthdays, or just in general. I really hope you've enjoyed this video and found it useful. I'd like to say a great big thank you to the channel sponsor today, which is PaperCutz. As I'm always saying, their quality is fantastic and their customer service is second to none. If you are a small business and you need to buy your supplies in bulk, then definitely drop them a line, because they will happily do wholesale purchases as well. All of the links to the items that I have used today can be found in the description box down below. If you have any comments or questions, just leave them below and I will be sure to get back to you. A great big thank you to all of you for watching today. Don't forget to hit that like button and share it with any of your crafty friends. And I will see you next week. Bye! Well, hello. This is a tiny little Easter egg for all of those that stick around to the very end of my video. Now, I'm going to share with you yesterday's short and just guide you quickly through all of the items that I actually used. So you're obviously going to need your lovely potion bottle, along with your foiled stickers that we made in today's video. But to make the magical glimmer potion, you are also going to need some purple or colour of your choice food gel. I have used gel rather than drops, but you can use either. Some isopropyl alcohol. Yes, this does work with water, but I promise you, if it's something you wish to display, you're definitely going to want to use the isopropyl alcohol. This here is the magic, and it is edible luster dust, available in lots of different colours. I'm going to use a funnel to make everything a little bit easier. We're also going to be using a bamboo skewer just to apply and stir everything.
And gold wax to seal it all.